Alright, welcome to the channel. So, welcome. I am RetroTechX, and this is RTX Pinball. Today we're going to be doing a review on Taito Pack 3. So these are all IPs from the Taito series, or arcade games. Basically, all these tables are created in the 80s vein of either electromechanical or solid-state games. There's 12 different IPs across the 3 packs, 4 tables each. One of the games in every pack has a kind of a tower defense type of game, which is its marquee game. So in this case, we have Arkanoid, which is a game here. I don't know what else to call it. Bobble is your kind of your tower defense. That is your marquee IP for this particular pack, Pack 3. You have Rainbow Islands, which is actually Bobble 2. So if you remember the old games where the original characters were turned into dinosaurs, and in the second game they were actually humans again, so Rainbow Islands. And then Legend of Kage. So that is how you say Legend of Kage. Very unique table, and we'll get into that one last, but let's start with Arkanoid. So to start with, all of these tables have the ability to change the lighting in them. You can go morning, afternoon, and night. Sound effects and music are from the actual tables, from their IPs. Here's the time of day settings that we just talked about. We're going to play on morning just so that you can see as much detail as possible. And we'll start here. Now this table in particular, I love the look of this table. These are all 4K 60 tables on the 4KP. Sound effects kits will sound amazing on all of them. You'll hear punchy sound effects for drop targets, and you'll hear really nice spinner sounds and animations. You're not going to hear animations, but you know what I'm talking about. This table in particular is very difficult though. These drop targets represent a lot of the scoring, but at the same time, everything's straight down the middle. It's incredibly difficult to get an extra ball. It's a really tough table to play. It's a shame because I really love this table, but it's very, very difficult. We'll play a couple balls and see what you guys think. Outlands on this one can be pretty difficult. Those Arkanoid sound effects, man, they're so good. Love them. That's the only one that might get a little annoying, especially if you're in a pretty quiet environment at night. Somebody will probably say something about it. So. This one basically ends up being an orbit type of game where you're just shooting every ball to the orbits. So there I got a 10,000 points per spin. And you always want to make sure that you're lighting up this 10x bonus, which is done at the top, when the full reward is either at the far right or far left. So, very simplistic scoring, which is something that we talked a lot about in packs 1 and 2. Again, very simple scoring. These are EM tables, EM or solid state type of tables, so there's not going to be modes in any of these. Most of these tables do not have any verticality to them, so they're not going to be ramps or anything like that. Excuse me. And there is no modes. So these are all pretty much grinding tables. You're going to grind for points. You're going to do spot targets, drop targets. You're going to do some bumpers. Spinners are very important in this era, so you're going to be doing lots of spinner type action. And there's going to be red specials. Red specials, blue specials, depending on the table where you're going to get different things. But that's how it goes. So what would I give this table? This one, man, this is a table that I would love if it just would keep the ball in play. The outlands on this table are absolutely brutal. It is a very difficult table. I I wish that they made a couple of tweaks to it. It would have made the game a lot more playable. As it is, I give this one a 7, which is pretty generous. Most people who play this will find it incredibly difficult and will not want to play it many times, especially if they're not particularly good at pinball. It will be absolutely soul-crushing to not be able to knock down all those drop targets in the center and just kind of keep playing like that. This table doesn't reward people knocking down these targets as much as you would think it would, and it really detracts from the gameplay. So as much as I would love to give this table, in my way, I would love to give it an 8, maybe even more, like a 9. It's just too difficult of a table. I think there's something to it. People who like challenge will definitely like this one, but you're going to be nudging, you're going to be fighting the ball all the time, and to get a really good score on this is quite a challenge. So we'll stop there. Arkanoid. Excuse me. Alright, this next table is Bobble. So this is the table you're probably here to watch. If you looked at this table, who doesn't like Bobble? It was an incredible 2-player game that you could play with your friends. You'd blow bubbles, encapsulate the bad guys, and then smack them for fruit, basically. Fruit and sushi and bananas and all kinds of different things. Really cool table. And the sad part of this is that all of these Taito packs, they use the primary IP of each one of these tables to make a tower defense game, and that to me was really disappointing. So they all play the same way. However, those Bobble music is incredible. There you go. Has a nice melody to it, super fun. We're going to go ahead and plunge the ball. We start out with 5 lives on these, and then when the baddies start coming down, they're going to try to attack these central spots on the table, and they're going to try to knock you out. The problem with all of these tables is, I don't know if you've watched the other reviews for Title Pack 1 and 2, this is a tower defense game, essentially. So as these guys come down the table, they all have hit points, and you're going to be throwing the pinball around the table, trying to acquire a way to freeze them. You might hit them with lightning bolts at the top of the screen. You will see fireballs, you'll see tornadoes as options to take care of these. This is fireballs, and this is a tornado. You can acquire a multi-ball by simply going up this ramp here, or this orbit, hitting the spinner multiple times. All of the things that you hit will have a hit point to them to tell you when they'll become available. So right there, if you see that lightning actually says 210, this is now 35, so 35 more spins. You see some bubbles around the table. Now I've completed stage 1, so I have 2 to deal with, 2 to defend. When you lose a ball, it's not too big a deal. You have another one. I have 4 more in this case. Kid-friendly. These are very kid-friendly tables. These tower defense type games, super playable. On the HD and Micro, they're really cool because they represent some of the best tables that you can get. Honestly, the ball is very big, which actually helps for clarity, especially on the Micro. Making these really fun tables. The only thing you have to consider on these is value. So you're looking at $35 for 4 tables on the 4K, or $30 on the HD as of right now. And this is June of 2025. I know there's a price increase coming. I don't know if it's going to apply to these games in particular or not, but it may. And it's going to make it even a little harder to digest if they raise the price even more. At any rate, these are fun tables. This Bobble table, you can play for easily 45 minutes. It's a lot of fun. The problem is you do get some bugs on these. So a lot of times you'll have a ball get stuck behind a character who's either been frozen or hidden. I've seen bugs on this one where If I threw a ball around this orbit here, and it'll get stuck up here because a guy was walking through that spot there and the ball gets stuck. You can pause the game and go reset ball to try to get that ball back. But even that doesn't necessarily work all the time. And in the heat of battle later on in the game, if you might have 2 or 3 balls on the table, and there's an opportunity where you'll get one stuck, and you can actually have the game crash at times too. So there are some bugs on these. As it is, I would give Bubble Bobble a 7. I, however, love the music of it. I wish that it didn't crash. I wish that you didn't have to reset balls all the time. Those are things that are really frustrating to me. I would have loved to have rather seen just a really good EM or solid-state pinball machine around these IPs. That is my strong opinion on these. I wish that they had done a little something more with them. As it is, I think these tables are still very fun. I think they're very appealing to kids. They're going to play this table for a while. So if you don't like my assessment of that, please let me know in the comments. I'd love to hear what you guys think of them. A lot of people are probably going to want me to review these a little higher because they are good IPs. And some people really enjoy these tables. They're kind of fun. They can be. I don't particularly care for them, but it is what it is. We all have our own opinion on them. You can see here what I'm doing. I'm just going to do this for another 45 minutes, is basically what I'm doing. So we're going to ward off those baddies by using power-ups across the table. There is no rest on these tables. You start plunging and you just go all the way to the end. There's no time in which you can stop and settle. There's some really cool digital effects. There's the tornado that we talked about. So, very punchy sound effects. Obviously, it's not quite loud. You can hear me right now. I'm compressed. So, that is Bubble Bobble. Pretty cool. Let me know what you guys think in the comments. And we'll go from there. Next up. I believe it's the last one. No, I'm sorry. I'm ahead of myself. I'll tell you why here in a second. So Rainbow Islands. This is a... Rainbow Islands. This game in particular is not very good. So, first of all, the IP, Rainbow Islands, it's a game that disappointed fans, I think, for the most part. Everybody loves Bubble Bobble. I don't hear anybody ever talk about Bubble Bobble 2, Rainbow Islands. This table is kind of the same way. If you bought this pack, you bought it for Bubble Bobble, and you're going to like Bubble Bobble even better than this one. So, this one, the gameplay is pretty wild. Again, you're still hitting spot targets, you're still hitting drop targets, you're still hitting spinners, bumpers. There's a red special. There's a red special over here. This one has a broken in-lane, which kind of makes it a problem, and you do have some outlanes that can be pretty frustrating on this one. So, it is what it is. It's a very pretty table. It's going to appeal to girls, certainly. I don't know. It's one that, it's just a shame. I wish they could have done a lot more with this one. You know, good gameplay will always trump a bad IP, and this one has a bad IP and bad gameplay. So to me, it's not one I'm going to play very often. We had to play it in the Flipper Friends event a few weeks back, and I must have played it 2 or 3 times and said, nah, I don't care. It's just not that fun. I have a real hard time playing this one. A lot of capture holes. It slows down gameplay. I mean, that is just frustrating as all get out to me to have gameplay slowed either by magnets or capture holes again and again and again. You see that across the board, really. Some of the new deluxe tables are the same way. They just have so many ways to slow down gameplay. It has no flow. It can be really tough sometimes. Sound effects are all really good. The music is pretty muted on this one, to be honest. There's not a lot going on. I'm sure it's accurate to the game, Rainbow Island, but having not really played a whole lot of the game because I didn't like it back then, and it kind of goes for the theming for this one too. The game itself is not very good, and the theme's not very good. So, What would I rate this one? I would rate this one a 5. Like, this does nothing for me. It's certainly playable. If you like Bobble 2, you'll like it. It's likable enough. I haven't seen any bugs with it. You know, it plays clean. It doesn't have any issues with it. So it just has some pretty frustrating in and out lanes. You're going to lose a ball here or there pretty easily. I don't know. You do get some nice bonuses. You build up your bonus up to 100,000 here. You do get the specials here and there. It's just a 5 for me. It's just kind of a meh table. Somebody will like it, I'm sure, but I'm not the guy. Alright, and the last one, Legend of Kage. Yeah, excuse me. Legend of Kage is is a game that is very much revered in the arcade scene. I know a lot of people really like it. Every time I've tried to play the arcade game, whether it be on a Taito, so I have the Evercade Taito Super Pocket here, the Hyper Mega Tech, which is kind of an Evercade crossover table or system. Actually has Legend of Kage on it. The game itself is really weird, quite honestly. You have a really weird jumping mechanic. You throw shurikens and things like that, and fling a sword around. I don't know. This table is pretty tough. It's got a pretty unique playfield, which is kind of cool. It's got an extra flipper here, which actually adds to it. Drop targets, really cool playfield. So we'll jump into it. Again, the rule sets for these, before I get into it too far, super simple playfields. You're looking at EM tables, or EM or solid state type of era games. So there's not going to be modes on these. Again, no verticality. There's no ramps. There's no rails. Nothing like that. Super simplistic gameplay. I will say on this one, awesome music and sound effects. It's so good. The plunge is a little weird because it goes right into the playfield. Like, it shoots right this way, which is a little strange, instead of going up to the top of the playfield. And this double flipper can kind of be a problem at times. You can't just leave this up because you're creating a gap for that ball to fall through there. So just know what you're doing when you do that. Love the sound effects, though. Good scoring opportunities. There's lots to do on this table. Drop target, the spot target, or the drop target bank right in the center of the playfield is actually really cool. You have to hit all the target. Whoops, that's a fear that you're going to have to deal with. If you're gonna, it kind of has that black hole haunted house kind of mentality here with the double flipper. That if you have that going on, you're going to have to deal with that gap. So be mindful of it. Use that upper flipper to your advantage, like in this case. But just know that you can't do this real easy because there's a good chance you're going to lose that ball. So it's just something to think about. It's really cool that they did that in this one, and it adds a little bit of flexibility to the gameplay. Boy, I played particularly bad on that one. Holy cow. Legend of Kage. This is a fairly difficult table, but it's not ridiculous. If you're really concentrating on gameplay and really taking care of the ball, you can do really well on this table. You can have a lot of fun with it. Scoring is simplistic but fun. Sound effects are great. I would give this one probably an 8.5. If I had to rate this one, probably an 8.5. I think this one's one that it's the highlight of the pack, to be quite honest. I think it's the best table of the pack. Bobble's okay. I love Arkanoid, but it's got its own issues. This would be the highlight of this pack. So, the sound effects and the spinners and all that stuff just sound really, really good on this table. It's still a tough game, but that doesn't make it a bad game. Arkanoid, I know, is a bad game, or a tough game, but it also has some bad outlanes and stuff like that. This outlane can be pretty brutal. You've seen them on both sides here, but anyway, I would give this one an 8.5. There's not a lot of people who would disagree with me that this is a bad table. I think most people generally like this table quite a bit. and it's been super fun. This is the one I play the most of the tables on this particular pack. I will say I play Arkanoid more than I probably should, because I love that table. Despite its issues, I love Arkanoid. It's an incredibly challenging table. But there you go. Alright, so with that, what would we rate for the pack? The pack for this one, you know, it's pretty weak, to be honest. Legend of Kage is probably the best title. If you're gonna pay if you like, you maybe like 3 of these IPs, even if you didn't like Rainbow Islands, you just kind of throw that one out. The other 3 are all pretty good. On the HD, you're basically paying $10 a table. So if you look at it that way, that's pretty tough to swallow. On the 4KP, you're looking at $35, so you're looking at even a little more. It's really tough to buy these at this point. But at the same time, these are recognizable IPs. People are going to want to play these tables, especially Bobble, maybe Arkanoid are going to be very recognizable. People are going to want to play those. I still think they're a good value, even in 2025, to purchase. But wait for a sale. Hopefully you can get a sale on these. Maybe win a gift card on Flipper Friends. It's something you pick up. That's the time to buy these. Hopefully they don't go up in price any more than they are. I think that's a possibility, as we've heard rumors of a price increase, but it is what it is. As a whole, I would give this pack probably I'd maybe give this a 6. It's probably the weakest. It's one of the weaker packs. But at the same time, I really like Arkanoid and I love Legend of Kage. So between those tables, this is one that I would probably purchase. I do love Zookeeper quite a bit. That one keeps me coming back to Taito Pack 2. So at any rate, I hope you enjoyed this review. And just remember, you only need one ball for greatness. Keep plunging.
Retro